This is your host, Jason Snellgrove, and I will be your guide as we journey down the road to pleasure hunt or hitting the long trail to those great comp hunts. This is the Coonhound Collective podcast.
Backpackers, cold trailers don't win world hunts.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Uh-huh.
You can't say let's try to win the world hunt in one breath and then say I'm looking for a dog that's cold nosed and gone a track all night long as a backpacker. That they don't mix anymore.
Yeah, no, you got to have something that's going to get by itself and have a coon.
They need to be by themselves.
And they can't mess around doing it.
And they can't mess around all night long doing it.
Yeah.
And let's just be serious, guys. I don't care what breed you hunt. We got too many coon anymore to need a cold trailing idiot.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying there may be some mountains in West Virginia or somewhere, but for the majority of us coon hunters, there is no reason to have these old cold trailing, any breed dog to have. We don't need them. Go get a beagle and listen. If you want to listen to something run, you can listen to them off your back porch.
Yeah, and me and you've talked about this a bunch about, people saying dogs back then were better than they are now.
Oh, hell. Don't even get me started on that stupid crap.
And we've talked.
Now you're going to really get him fired up.
Oh yeah.
We ain't had a chance to get him fired up
Yeah,
yet.
now I'm getting fired up.
I'll tell you what, if anybody listening don't know Aaron Gamble, I can tell you right now, they broke the mold when he was born.
When I hear them old timers talk about 1970 so-and-so, I'm just liquored up and pissed off. And I don't even drink.
Well, I think I made the comment. I don't remember the last time I had to build a campfire waiting on the dog to get treated.
Oh, I get so sick of that crap.
And I think you said they used to come down to the tire shop and brag about they had a dog that treated by themselves. Go hunting by themselves.
You listen to them old timers, they'll say 1975 so-and-so would beat these dogs and they're good track dogs and all. Their guys are full of crap. 90% of them wouldn't even hunt by themselves. They wouldn't split tree. And then they talk about how good of a track dog they are. Hell, far they had 10 of them loose. How do they know how good of a track dog? Now I'm getting upset. How do they know how good of a track dog was? Hell, they had 20 of them loose.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he's ever going to get fired up, Jason.
I knew that would, because me and him's had this conversation several times.
You struck the match and went.
Yeah.
Right over there.
I get so sick of hearing that, 1982 something and 1991 something. It's like, guys, come on. Guys, I'd go to Danny Wilson's tar shop, and there'd be tons of coon hunters come down there. Now, this is in 92, 93, 94, and I'm not talking 1967 here. They'd come down there, and I remember it as a kid, plain as day. Somebody of course, there's several dog jockeys down there. And they'd talk about trying to sell a hound, and their selling point was it'd go hunting by itself. Well, hell far, guys. Dogs that don't go hunting by themselves now gets put on the serum truck, and nobody knows what the serum truck is. I'll tell you what that is here in a minute. But they get put on the serum truck, and it's like. Yeah. And then they, and maybe I'm wrong, but they talk about how good a track dog they are. Well, my God, they had, all bull crap aside, 3 or 4 or 5 dogs lose.
Yeah.
How do you know which? They was all helping each other, and if one made a lose, there's 4 more there to pick it up.
Yeah.
And them guys they're delusional. I hate to tell them they're delusional when they start. Junior last year, God rest his soul, because he's dead and gone, but, he was big into that. Talking about them old dogs. Them dogs wouldn't split tree. They would barely pack, or barely pack. That's all they do would pack. And, and I still remember, if a dog split tree, my God, they thought it was just hung the moon. Well, hell, they're all split treed now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hardly go to a tree now where there's 2 dogs on.
Absolutely not.
Maybe right out of the truck, but after that.
And then after that, they're split up, Yeah. And I used to hunt like everybody, where we turned the ball loose, 4 dogs loose. You go get them off the tree, and go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah. So do you think it's better breeding techniques for independence, and
part of it?
Where do you think we've went? I mean.
Part of it's breeding, as far as the independence. Now, I may be wrong, because I wasn't born in the 70s and 80s, but I seen the guys how they trained them. And I'm not saying the dogs were naturally as independent as they are now, but we made them backpackers back then. How'd you start a pup? You took a pup, you took it with 4 or 5 dogs, you teased that pup with them 4 or 5, 3 dogs, 2 dogs, whatever. I'm not saying there wasn't a few guys that hunt by themselves, but the vast majority of them, you
Kept them with them.
Kept them with them. You knocked them coons out to that pup with them dogs. You done all that. You conditioned that dog to believe. I remember as a kid, a dog would get lost and you'd get a dog treed, on a telephone pole or a tree beside the road to pull them dogs in. We taught them to be that way. Now I'm not saying they weren't backpackers naturally too, but think about how many dogs, if we would have trained them like we did today, how many maybe wouldn't have been backpackers back then.
Yeah.
And if they were independent, hell, they got rid of them.
Yeah.
I know a guy, I'm not mentioning no names, but a guy told me the other day there was a blue female over east toward Ava, split treed a lot, and the guy wanted $1,200 for her. Of course, he'd sold her because I thought, well, I'm going to go buy her. But she was independent, split treed all the time by herself, getting rid of her. $1,200. And it's like, dude, that's the one everybody wants. That's what we want now.
Yeah.
And he wanted rid of her. And another guy, I'm not going to mention his name, was over here east. He had a dog, and he was trying to teach it. She was born naturally independent, and he was trying to teach it to tree with the other dogs, to cover. But that's that old 1970s and 80s crap that they got into, That.
Well, if you're gonna, I don't care what breed it is. If you're gonna win a world hunt of any kind or a national championship or whatever, a truck, you got to have a dog that's going to get by itself and tree a coon.
With that 3-minute tree, and especially PKC, with that 30-second countdown, that covering don't cut it anymore.
No.
They have to be with that dog, or they need to be by themselves.
Yeah.
Because covering don't cut it. I was in a hunt here not long ago, and a dog running covered. The tree was dead. One dog come out with, I don't know if his hunter, I was just a spectator, but one dog come out with, let's say 200 plus. His dog gets 25 minus. That don't cut it. You can't win like that. Not only did the dog take 25 minus, and this dog sitting out here with 150, 200, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Think of the time wasted that dog wasted. Instead of treeing a coon, it wasted whatever time from the time we turned loose till the time it got to this dog. Let's say that was 10 or 12 minutes into the hunt and took 25 minutes. That dog wasted 12 minutes of hunting time to do what it done, when it should have been treeing a coon, and it would have been sitting there with 200 plus instead of sitting there with 25 minus.
Yeah.
That's what these guys, don't understand. And you hear these guys, I heard a guy the other day talk about these big hunting dogs. Mine will tree 3 coon behind it. That's them dogs don't win. They think they win, but they don't, because you take these big hunting dogs, and that dog drives in there a mile and gets treed. Your dog don't have time to tree 3 coon behind it.
Yeah, because they're a mile in just a matter of minutes.
In a minute.
Yeah.
And then they hit a hot coon, they get it treed in just, in 7 or 8 minutes, like Propane Jane. Your dog may be treed, it may not be treed. There's no way to tree 2 and 3 and 4 coon behind that. I'm not saying some of them once in a while don't get out of the country completely.
Yeah.
But you might tree one right there behind her or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the last night I drawed her, she treed right there in those plums at the dead end road and them plum bushes down by the creek. Of course, Creeper wouldn't tree with her. He went over there and treed on a den tree. And before you could say don't do it, she was all the way down that creek, almost at that other gate, treed again with another one.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. Just watch any of the Final Fours in Pro Sport or PKC and tell me how many 3 or 4 coon they tree behind another dog, and how many times you see backpackers. They're almost always split treed with coons.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, and really, it's to the point now, I guess, the last 2 or 3 years, even the dogs that's winning the UKC World, the Tournament of Champions, it's the same dogs that you see winning in PKC, Pro Sport, whatever, and they're doing the same thing. They're by themselves. Yes,
they're by themselves. You look at the dogs winning the TOC, it's PKC dogs.
Yeah.
It's not these backpackers that a lot of these I'll call them the older generation. That's what they want.
Yeah.
But that stuff don't win anymore. They can go over here to the local club and win. They can go, but to go out and consistently win. Let's just talk about Stogie, Cheyenne Stogie dog. He ain't winning because he's covering. The dog's won 70 or 80 grand. Let's talk about Scott Ingles' Echo dog that's won 500 grand. Go back and look how many times he done it by covering.
Hey, are you look a little green? He's mentioned Walker dogs a few times. Are you okay down there?
Yeah, he's talking awful ugly, saying that W word a bunch, like consecutively, real fast.
But I'm not saying nothing good about them. No.
Well, I didn't mean to get you fired up there, but I do.
You did.
I do want you to tell the story the night that you had to go in the tree down here, in the water and in the tree. Remember me, you, and Mike back here?
You left, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to leave, and you went in the tree. Y'all had to go cut something or get a chainsaw or
Oh no,
chicken.
we didn't have no chainsaw. There was a spring pond back there. I forgot you was there. You had to go to work or whatever.
Yeah, I had to go. I had to go to work next morning.
And the water comes literally out of the ground, and it's colder than hell. I'm talking. I look like a woman when I got out of that stuff.
Whatever. Hey, we drove around there and we got to the road, and here comes Aaron. He ain't got no shirt on. He's in his Crocs, which that's what you about honeying all the time anyway. And I'm thinking, Mike said, "Oh Lord, he's got his clothes off. Something ain't right."
But there's a huge sycamore on the bank, and there was a hole about, just a normal size hole like a groundhog hole going up under the bank. And you could see him in there about 10 foot. Well, there was a stick, almost like a fish hook, like a minnow trap. It was facing him. So every time he would come out, he would run into it. So I come back up here at the house. You didn't stay with us the whole time, did you?
No, when y'all come back to the house to get I think you got a chicken grabber or catcher or something. That's why I said, I'll stay if y'all need help. And you said, no, if you got to work, go ahead, we'll get him.
So anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I come back to the house and I got a chicken grabber, and I duct taped it or black taped it, whatever it was. I used tape onto a stick, and I laid in that water for I don't know about an hour, but I was red. It was so damn cold. My hands even ached from being in it, and I finally hooked his collar. And when I got him to that stick, I just drug, and you could get out, but you know how most animals are when they hit something like that, they ain't smart enough to power through it. But once I got him by the collar, I finally got him drug out of there, and I was shoeless. Mike couldn't believe it. He's yelling, "My God, you're going to get snake bit, get shoes." And I walked all the way out of there barefooted through all that tall grass. Mike was just shitting his britches. He's like, "My God, I can't believe you're barefooted doing that." But I was totally red. I'm going to tell you what, he was a cold dude, and my manhood was in a mess.
All right, what else you got, Brett? We've been at it for a little over an hour.
Have we?
Yeah, I ain't got warmed up yet. I'm just now getting loosened
just getting
up.
fired up.
We might have to use our mobile podcaster to get
I'm just
the
now
rest.
getting warmed up.
We've got a mobile podcast
We may
machine.
have to put it on. That's what John Stipe told me down there one night hunting.
Yeah.
He said, "Aaron, if you'd get on Facebook, you could sell all them dogs just by being you."
Yeah.
Now, who does this all go out to? Hopefully not some churchgoers.
Whoever subscribes and listens to it.
You got very many subscribers?
Oh yeah, there's quite. Well, I mean, there's
You wouldn't have
downloads.
to,
You don't have to subscribe. It's downloads.
To where to?
everywhere.
Apple, Spotify.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Well, this will be your highest grossing one.
Yeah.
Hell, they may have me on Johnny Carson next week. Go ahead, ask me some more. We'll get back to coon hunting here.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell the audience this. They supposed to been here 4 hours ago, and somehow Jason gets lost in a 35-mile drive and took them 4 hours to get here. And then they said, well, they went and eat. And I said, where in the hell did you go eat at? They said, Hardee's, which takes a whopping 10 minutes.
No, it took about 30 there.
Well, what happened to the other 2 hours and 45 minutes?
I don't know what he was doing.
No. He said, I'm coming, and he had to go meet his wife to get his truck, and there was a bad wreck, and he got tied up.
So the truth's coming out now.
I had already texted you before you got to the house because I thought he'd been there.
Oh, I didn't know you texted him before I got there.
Now the truth's coming out. Who actually made you late?
Yeah, it might have been me.
Yeah, literally, you text me. We ate dinner. I went and got Mexican, come back, fiddled around, went outside, fiddled around, watched 4 or 5 TV shows. I thought, where the hell are they at? Because we're going hunting. We're going hunting after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna have to use the mobile.
We're gonna go in the mobile.
Yeah.
The mobile machine.
The mobile.
Microphone.
But anyway, we mentioned about breeding my dog. All I tell everybody, I just want to pick male. And I don't care what the breeding is. If somebody's got a blue tick, I don't care if it's Walker. I don't want no crossbred nonsense. But and I'm not against crossbred. If people want to crossbreed, do it. But I'm not into that. I don't understand these guys that say, "Oh, I'm going to breed a blue tick to a Walker to improve the breed." Well, hell, once you breed it, it ain't a blue tick anymore. It's a half breed.
I've been arguing with him about that for a
Now,
week,
if you
and
want-
I got sick of talking.
If
I
you
just got
wanna
sick of telling him.
Crossbreed, I'm all for it. I don't care.
Yeah,
But don't
that's
tell
fine.
me your reasoning is I'm going to improve the black and tan line by breeding it to a red tick. Because it's no longer black and tan once you do that.
No.
So don't tell me you're improving it.
You're
Now,
not going to improve it. You're making a new one.
You're making a new one. Yeah, it's like.
And if it's good, then it got me
Yeah.
a new breed.
So I don't
Yeah.
understand these people when they say they're going to improve their breed and all of a sudden they're breeding this other junk. Like, it makes no sense to me. But if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't care. I always just want to pick male, and I don't care about their breeding because I get sick of listening to these blue tick guys. They'll say, I'm only breeding mine to 2 or 3 top females. Well, how the hell do you know those 2 or 3 females is going to click with your dog?
Yeah, you don't.
You don't.
No.
It's like a slot machine. You know, yeah, you can pull the handle one time and get lucky, but normally the people that win keep playing. That's how you do it. And nobody knows, I mean, unless you've done it, how them genes are going to line up. And if you think you're smart enough to look at a bitch's pedigree and a male goes, yep, that's going to be world champions, you're kidding yourself. You're in la la land. It don't happen.
You don't know until you try it. And it doesn't matter whether it's night champion or grand night.
No, if you take a bitch that's never, of course we don't have a time machine, but if you took a bitch and never hunted her and bred her or hunted her and made her a grand night, the genetics are the same.
That's right.
Nothing's going to change because you hunted her.
Yep.
And this is
You're 100% hitting a home run. I 100% agree with you. I've said this for a long time, and people
breed them.
Yeah.
If they no good, do something with them. Send them to the Springfield Dog Pound or the Serum Truck.
No serum truck.
You know what the Serum Truck is? Used to the Joplin trade days, and it was big, guys, big. Hundreds of dogs would come, and the Serum Truck was a van, a big old box truck van looking thing that would come in from the college, and they would pay, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, $30, $35 for them old junk hounds, and they took them to veterinarian school and would test new medicine and whatever.
Really?
And they called it the Serum Truck.
I didn't know
So
that.
used to, when somebody had a junk dog, you said it was going on the Serum Truck because that's what they done with them.
Now, was that how long ago?
That was
You
late
mean like-
90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, Beckham. It's Beckham. I think Beckham was his name. Run it. It was big. They had greyhounds. They had crossbred greyhounds, and they'd race them over on the track.
I can't believe I haven't heard of that.
Joplin, Seneca.
Yeah, I can't believe I
O.L.
hadn't-
Beckham?
I think O.L. Beckham.
Yeah. He wrote for Full Cry.
Ask Cheyenne
I
Cummings.
thought that name sounded
Cheyenne
familiar.
Cummings can tell you about, like,
Yeah.
I've heard Cheyenne talk about he had a barn with just hounds after hound in there, but they'd have that big trade day.
Really?
And they'd bring these big old breed greyhounds in there, and they'd had a big old track, and they'd race them. But no, it was just a homemade dirt track out in the field,
Half-bred. They was trying to
They would
improve the
tree some. Yeah, they
were trying to improve the
They
greyhound
was trying to
breed.
improve the greyhound breeding by putting some coonhound in them. Yeah. But they had run muzzles on them. It was awesome. Me and my wife went one time and seen it. They'd tree some. They'd sight tree. So they had tree hound in them. But they got in the truck and they drove out there out of sight. And it wasn't long you could see them running. But now it wasn't like a normal greyhound track where they had a deal pulling a rabbit. They had a tree at the end with it wasn't a live animal. I think it may have been a stuffed animal of some sort in it. And them things would run. Guys, when they come around that last turn and seen that tree and the whatever it was in that cage, they went from running to killing each other. And they all had to have muzzles on them.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was and when they hit that tree.
I've never heard anybody talk about that before.
Ask Cheyenne Cummings, any of them guys from the Seneca area.
That ain't that far from me.
No.
I can't believe I never heard about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some of them guys were from New York.
Oh, I bet
They brought
that
them
was
greyhound.
I bet that was fun.
It was, and there would be groups of guys. They was gambling is what they were doing, but you'd see 4 or 5, guys, and they was, they were betting what they were doing on them greyhounds. And that sometime one hound run and jumped way high and hit the tree, tried to jump. It was awesome, but that was, I guess it was O.L. Beckham's. I know it was Beckham's.
He was from Joplin, I think.
Okay, that'd be him then.
Yeah.
Was it just the first one there?
Best I remember the first one to the tree or in the ring or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that's been, like I said, 1998 was the last time I seen it. And I think they still have it, but it ain't big like it used to be.
You was talking about earlier, you had a mean dog, just put a muzzle on it. There ain't nothing in the rules, so you can't run a muzzle. There you
is.
go.
I think there's a rule.
I said I had a mean dog?
No, I said if you had one.
Oh.
I think the rules do say no muzzles.
Oh, does it?
I'm pretty sure UKC says no muzzles. I'm almost positive.
Oh, really?
But that was anyway. So that's where the old term around here would, if somebody said
serum truck.
the serum truck, that was you knew what that meant. They was going to college to get tested.
Darn,
Yeah. I don't know if they do that anymore, but they done it back then. That I'm telling you guys, that thing would pull in there, and every cage would be empty. But at the end of the day, it's stacked to the ceiling full of dogs. Them old cull trade dogs. I think they'd give you like $35 for them or something. And they'd fill her up.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That sounds like some good entertainment.
It was. Yeah. And guns, people have guns.
I got excited just watching you explain it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the serum truck. But anyway, I'll get back to the breeding. Not get back on track because I got sidetracked. Yeah, I don't understand the breeding. Lipper, you take Lipper. Somebody called Mac, he bred them. Nocturnal Nailer, they called Jess.
Yeah.
He bred them.
Yeah.
Rat Attack, Sackett Jr., you can go down the list. And if you look at the dominant breed, let's just be serious, it's the Walker breed. There's anybody that says otherwise is delusional. But once again, they breed for winners. They've bred for winners. They've, like I said, Lipper, I can go through them all again. If somebody called them, come and breed. They call a blue tick guy. I called a blue tick guy up in Wisconsin. I ain't going to mention his name, but I called him and said something about, nope, ain't going to breed him. And then it wasn't long he had pups on Facebook where he'd been breeding them. He just turned me down completely. He had no idea if my female
would reproduce
or not, but would not do it.
No,
because he had to have that little old select group that he would only breed to. And the guy had good hounds. I'm not running these hounds down. I mean, that's why I called him.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is why we can't progress as a breed, because, nobody will do it. You take Lipper. He had 5,000 pups. I'm going to do a little math here. 5,000 pups is what he had. He had a 5% reproduction average if you look in the book. 5% is 250 pups. 10% would be 500. So 250 pups at 5% was champions. Now, I ain't counting all the other ones. That was pretty good. But I'm just going off the champions. So that's 250. So normally, in nature, 50-50s females and 50-50s males. So let's say 125 males, 125 females was champions. Now let's say 5% of the 125 could reproduce. So 10% of 250s, 25. So 12 and a half dogs was reproducers. They came out with 12 and a half dogs that could reproduce to start more bloodlines. 12 and a half dogs. Mm-hmm. You take a blue tick, and they breed 2 females. You're lucky if one of them is a reproducer. And we've got maybe one dog that's going to reproduce versus a dog over here with 12. And that male dog, if you had 12 males, think about how many pups, you can get out of a male dog. I mean, hundreds if you bred enough bitches to them.
Oh, yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It makes no sense why the other breeds think like that, where the Walker dog guys they don't think like that. They don't care. Jess Dickerson, when you called him, he didn't. I mean, he may have asked you just to be a nice guy, but he didn't care what your bitch was. As long as you showed up and gave him 4 $100 bills, he would stick a nailer on top of her. That's all he was worried about.
Yeah.
But you think about that, the volume.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did we not just talk about this?
Yeah, we just talked about it. Just a week or so ago.
Yeah, it don't make no sense to me the way.
Well, we argued about it.
Yeah,
I think
I always had to play the other person.
But you're on my side, Brett.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you tell this to blue tick guys. I see it on Facebook all the time. We already got enough crap out there. I'm only breeding. You know what? I can't remember who it was. He's like, I'm only breeding just something. It's like, how do you know any of that crap's going to work?
Yeah.
You don't, and even if you. No, genetics are a funny thing, and there's no way of knowing what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
I've done some foolish things and made some crosses that I shouldn't maybe done, but the only reason I can sit here and tell you that is because I've done it and I experienced what was from that. So just in the same sense as that, you could do that and go and hit a home run.
Yes.
And it's like, and there's a lot of guys that turn down females and stuff. And I had, and I'm not saying I got a stud dog, but I've bred some females to my dog. And this is not podcasting about me, it's about you. But I've had people talk about this to me too, and they'd say, you probably better be a little more selective on what females that are coming to you. And I said, who am I to tell a guy when he calls that is interested in breeding my dog that his female can't reproduce? Yep. I don't know nothing about whether she can reproduce or not. Now, she may not have the bloodline or possess some of the traits that I know that line might possess that I don't really like, you know. But that don't mean this is going to be a bad cross.
Sure.
I mean, I'll tell you what. There's a female for sale right now on Facebook. Just today was posted, and I bred loaner to her, and there's about 4 or 5 pups out of that cross that are making dogs. Matter of fact, I had early on tried buying one of the females out of that cross from the guy, and I can't buy her. And that female, I had her at my house, and but she just got bad kennel manners. And anyways, I'm not going to say what dog it is or anything, but I opted out on getting a pup out of that cross. I could have got a pup for that breeding, and because of
yep.
what the opinion I had formed on her, and I like the way she's bred and all that, but I didn't like the way she acted in the pen. Well, the dog that I tried buying don't act like her.
Yeah.
The pup out of her was a nice young female, and I've got multiple phone calls about the pups, and they've been out of that female. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just couldn't stand her. I had her at my house for 2 months.
Yeah.
But just because I didn't mean she wasn't going to reproduce, and she reproducing on him.
Absolutely.
And so who am I to tell that? Oh no, I ain't.
Breed. They called me up, whatever. It didn't matter which dog. Preacher's dad, which would be Crutch's grandpa, he's out of Dwayne Caulfield had a bitch that was a backtracking idiot. Matter of fact, they got rid of her. And I don't mean at the serum truck. I meant down at the other way.
The other truck.
The other truck. The halfway dead wagon truck. But anyway, she'd backtrack. I mean, they said, I never hunted with her. They just said she's a backtracking idiot. I heard old Dwayne say she'd rather track backwards as forwards, and they bred the old runt, and that's where my preacher dog and a dog named Rogue and the female come from, and all 3 of them were coon dogs.
Really?
Good ones. So whatever something was right there with her and him, and it worked. You know, there was a dog, if you go to the Aurora Club, Jason, you've seen it, you may not notice it, but there's a dog in there called Missouri Black's Chief. There on the wall. Yeah. And Donnie Hillis and them boys had a dog named Joker, and that's the only one I remember. There was several dogs, though. But that old man, I can't remember his name, but he had old Chief down there, and he was trying to be a stud dog guy, and bred him, and they was normally horrendous. But he had one old brood bitch out there that for some reason it clicked. But Donnie Hillis had a dog named Joker that was a good hound, but usually that litter would work, whatever reason. And that's what I'm saying. When these guys are breeding, you never know when you're going to hit that unicorn.
No, you don't.
You know, it may be a female that nobody's ever hunted. It may have been bred 2 or 3 times, and the pups all stunk. But, you know, she may be, the old term, you know, she may be a unicorn when you get there. Just something works when it meets your dog. And if it don't, get rid of them.
Yeah.
But you look while you're think about what you're going to say. You look at all the breeding dogs, they're never winners. Lipper never won nothing. I think he won a hunt in Texas. What Naylor win? Nothing. What Right Attack win? A little bit.
The grandpups out of Lipper I always heard was the...
Maybe.
Is that right?
I don't know. I just know them guys always like Lipper. But you know what I'm saying? If you look at the...
I shouldn't even be saying nothing. I don't know nothing about W's.
Michigan Swamp Rooster, what did he ever win?
Yeah,
I don't think anything.
No.
But he's still one of the best English reproducers of all time. I'm not arguing.
He reproduced a lot of dogs. He reproduced a big number, about 3,000 pups or so.
But there were some good ones in there.
There was. He reproduced a lot of dogs that reproduced good too.
But you look at all the big breeders, they ain't never won nothing. Hawk, Lonnie's a Hawk dog. He never won nothing.
He's a reproducer.
He's a reproducer, but he never won nothing. But like I said, Lipper never won. Lipper, and I may be wrong, but I'm thinking Lipper won a hunt in Texas, maybe like one hunt. Naylor never won anything.
Hickory Nut Harry.
I don't think Hickory hit that Harry one much. But you just look at all your winners of any breed, and most of them ain't been these big winners like the. Winning and breeding is two different things.
Me and Chops talk about this a lot too. It's human nature, and we do this too. Now, we're guilty of this, and we're all kind of guilty of it. We prefer to breed coon dog to coon dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We really do. It's human nature for us to breed coon dog to coon dog, but not always is coon dog to coon dog reproducing either.
No.
And a lot of times you'll have some accidental crosses, and somebody will hear about this dog just beating the thunder at everybody, like, where'd that thing come from? They said, well, so-and-so bred this. I haven't even heard of them.
Yep.
And genetics are a funny thing.
Probably the best guy in the world when it come to that mad scientist breed probably was Dave Dean. And I'm not saying that because he's a blue tick guy, but he would breed brother to sister, daughter to dad, inbreed them. I mean, and probably doesn't know tell him what if truth be known, but he was almost a mad scientist and was good at it.
I saw a pedigree there. Just funny you saying that. I looked down that pedigree and I was like, everything on that pedigree says Hammer.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa.
And I don't.
I don't know how many dogs.
Yeah. I don't even know actually how. I've never really hunted with that many hammer dogs because we lived around Oochman, so most blue ticks around here, Oochman, Smoky River. But my point is, I've read about him and heard, talked to guys that knew him. I mean, he was almost a mad scientist when it come to that stuff, breeding and inbreeding, and some people's got a knack. But when you talk about genetics, I always tell people this. I've got 45,000 laying hens down here, and I'm going to use them as an example for breeding. These chickens are geneticists breed these this ain't me and you going over here behind your house in a coop and breeding chickens or a cow or hey, I bought a limousine bull. I mean, these are geneticist companies. We're talking billion-dollar companies. Cobb Ventris is in 92 countries. Avage and Ross is in like 90, 100 countries.
Yep.
And they have geneticists, and that's what I try to tell people. I mean, it's unreal what they do to get these chicken genetics, but after a few years, they fall off. They got to start over. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, maybe Cobb's got a really good bird. And then all of a sudden, their bird falls off and Avagin jumps ahead or Hubbard. But my point is, how can we that barely got out of high school, what I'm saying, and work a menial job, are going to go out here and act like we're these master breeders?
Yeah.
And when we've got geneticists that they can't even themselves keep it going.
Yeah.
So how are we going? And if you look, let's go back and look at. Let's go back to Lonnie Oochman. He had Old Hawk. Then he had Scout. Scout was a little bit less. Hornet was even less. Clyde was even less, and then it's over. Go to Jess Dickerson, Naylor, 1 or 2, and he was done. Let's go back to all the way to Spring Creek Rock. Spring Creek Rock, 1 or 2, he was done. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you look, I don't care, let's go to Ron Taylor, Northern Blue Levi, then Dancer, Bingo, then Dancer, but it just got less and less. Mm-hmm. If you look, I don't care what breed you look, they can only keep that going for a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of that?
No, I've never thought about it that way.
They cannot keep that going before it finally peters out on them.
Yeah.
I don't care what breed it is. Think about that. Most people never give that a thought.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
But you look at them, they'll start out with one big one, and then every dog after that, rarely, I'm going to brag on Cheyenne, is, he's done pretty good. He had Mafia, Shaq, now Stogie. He's kind of kept up there.
Do you think that's the course being run by a man's lifetime? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what it is for sure. But anyway, most people guys never think about that until I point that out. But you get to thinking about it.
Yeah, you got my mind right.
It slowly goes downhill. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you look at Secretariat. Secretariat, and then he had a few good ones, but it never, Now, Dwayne Clark one time told me, because most people don't know this, but I was born and raised around Dwayne Clark, Spring Creek. I can take you where Spring Creek Rock's buried.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards. So I've been around Jason.
Jason drove me by it just this spring.
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
Yeah,
he showed it to me.
By the chicken house, the old rock chicken house. Yeah. He, I would go to the Hurley Mill, and Dwayne would be there, and I've listened to them guys talk since that was before even coon. I mean, it was 5, 6, 7 years old, you know. And Dwayne would be there, and the coon hunters. So I've been around coon hunting my whole life. My uncle coon hunted, you know, but Dwayne Clark called it a breeding phenomenon. Is what he called it, kind of like Secretariat, you know. It's like a pyramid, and he said, you know, Rock was the best. It was a genetic dead end, basically. Nothing was going to be above him because he was the end. He was the end of the genetic line. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, but he used the term genetic a breeding phenomenon, just like Secretariat to racehorse. Secretariat was never going to produce a horse better than him because he was the best.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You could not improve on the very best, you know, and I think that's kind of part of these dogs. You know, you get the one good one, and there's nowhere to go but down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of like these chickens. They breed them, and they're really good layers. They really hatch good, but then all of a sudden you hit the best, and there's nowhere to go. So you go down, and then if you're lucky enough, I'm going to use the word lucky enough because that's normally what it comes down to, you maybe can build back up. But you take a lot of these guys. You take Scott Engel. I don't keep track of his dogs much, but, you know, he had Mojo. What's he hunting out of Mojo now?
Nothing.
He went and bought Echo.
Yeah.
I don't know what Echo's at, but he bought Echo.
He's a wipeout dog.
Okay, he's a wipeout dog.
Yeah.
He ain't. You know, I know we had the electric rodeo, and maybe that goes back to Mojo some. But you take a lot of them big guys that keep winning. If you really notice,
There were several of them. Go ahead.
And I may be wrong on some of that. I'm trying to do this all by memory, of course. But what my bigger point, what I'm trying to make is, if you look at these guys that do a lot of winning, they normally buy a dog. Very few of them.
Along the way there.
Very few of them other than Cheyenne, and I'm sure there's a few more. You know, Ron Taylor was one with Dancer and Levi and all them. But, you know, that's actually hunted his own stuff. I've hunted my own stuff. This is third generation. Actually, I've got 4 generations, you know, stuff. But it's hard to do. Most people, it's easier just to go buy one.
Oh yeah.
And instead of trying to keep that going, and but like I said, I'm gonna have to brag on, and I don't know Cheyenne nothing, but you know he's been pretty good. He's done it pretty good. Now how long? But I still wonder how long he's gonna be able to keep that. And then I think also what you're seeing too. You know, you take Lipper line or Nailer line or Swamp Rooster. Not only are they maybe not getting any better, you've got other lines coming on that's making them not look as good. You know, all of a sudden, you know, you got, you know, this dog that's really producing and throwing a good line of hounds, but then all of a sudden you got 3 more over here that start, you know, at some point, I don't know if that's part of what's going on.
They get left behind and forgot about too.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Maybe.
And then you've got newer generation of hunters, and they don't have a clue about none of the rest of that either.
And I think that's part of it, is all of a sudden you know, okay, well you got Lipper, well now all of a sudden, now we can breed the Nailer, he's hot, you know, and it's not that necessarily Lipper ain't throwing as good.
Yeah,
we've got the new flavor of the month, and I think that's a little bit of it too when it comes to breeding. But and I love people too. They'll call and say, "How you pick a pup?" Well, I said, tell them the same way you pick a lottery ticket: buy the damn thing and give it a whirl. Because I mean,
well, and a lot of the times it's, you know, once you get the pup to the house, what are you doing? Are you leaving it in the kennel till it's 2 or 3 years old, and you know, is it getting the opportunity to go out and hunt?
Yep.
You know, that if you don't hunt it, it ain't gonna make nothing.
I don't care how good it is. And then also, you know, you got guys. Huh?
No, go ahead.
You got guys that. What'd you say? Talk about.
I said, speaking of hunting.
Yeah, we'll go here in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, when you got 8-week-old puppies, come on here. Now, if you can take all them home and raise them till a year old and watch them go, and like I can only mention a few guys that actually do it. They go out and let them walk, and they watch them. Okay, that one's independent. That one's wanting a tree. You know, then you can kind of isolate. But when these guys show up and they got 8-week-old puppies, and they're like, they got this big scientific formula that they're going to pick this one because it's doing that, and this one's doing that, and this one's got a black spot on his tail, and that one don't. Come on here.
Yeah.
Pick one up and get on with it.
Yeah. Take it to the woods.
Take it to the woods.
I had one that I drove to and picked out once, and I wanted her, and she didn't want nothing to do with me. But I just that's the one I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time figuring it out. I spent a lot of time trying to get her caught.
Yeah.
And I called Russ. I said, I got a problem. This pup don't want nothing to do with me, and I don't know what it is about her, but this is the one I want. And he said, is there another one in there you like too? And I said, yeah, there's another one in there I like too. It's real houndy and outgoing acting. I said, this other one, I don't know what, I just got this feeling. He said, I know you. Run the pup down, catch it, and get out of there. As soon as you get it caught, get out of there and head home. Head to Missouri and get out of there. And I'm glad I did. 4 of those 6 died of a histoplasmosis, and she lived. And it was just, I mean, I could have hum-hawed around there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, it was just a fluke deal.
I just look them over and grab one.
Yeah, when I walked out there and saw her, I was like, but when you got them at your house,
that's different
and you
story.
raise them, that's a different game.
Yeah, you can watch them. And then I'll tell you another thing that a lot of guys, some people don't understand what's going on now. They go with the dog, and he's independent as hell. He's over there split tree, and he's over there split tree. And they're like, I'm breeding to that dog.
Yeah.
Was he born independent, or was he whipped independent?
Yeah.
Because if he got ass whipped to be independent, ass whippings don't go through genetics.
No.
You want a dog that's naturally that can do that. And a lot of these dogs are man-made. Not all of them. There's less than there used to be, but there's still a lot of dogs that are man-made. And when these guys are seeing, man, they're doing this and they're doing that. But like I said, hind-end whippings don't come through their blood.
No, they
I
don't.
want to breed. I want to breed to. If I'm wanting that independence, let's say, I want to breed to one that's naturally got it.
Yeah.
Because if you take a dog that's naturally got a lot of independence, it's easy to make them quit covering. It's easy.
Yeah. You just can't let them get away with it.
You just can't let them get away with it. Kind of show them, and don't be taking them over there to other dogs and shooting coons out to them, that kind of stupid stuff. Yeah. But
they can only reproduce natural ability.
That's exactly right. And a lot of these dogs, though, like I said, are not natural anymore. Some of them ain't natural anymore. So you kind of be
careful. Where do you think that comes from?
What?
Well, now that we're on that topic, you think they're just got social issues?
The dog?
I got my opinion on this, but yeah, them dogs that are like that.
I don't know. It is weird that I think a lot of it's jealousy. I think that's probably the majority of it's just jealous. They don't want to share with nothing. I can tell you this: that dog of mine is super independent, and I think his was. I'll speak for him. He'd cover a little bit when he's young, but he just, as he got older, he just quit. I did. You're like going in and shocking him off a track or running him down if he's trailed. I didn't do any of that garbage. But he got, as he's got older, he's just got worse and worse. And I think part of it is his jealousy, and I think also he's just smart enough to realize it's just a hell of a lot easier to do this by myself. I can tree by myself. I don't have to get beaten, banged around, and jumped on.
Have a bunch of yap in your ears.
I can just tree, and that's what I think. A lot of it. Some of them, I know Stan Morris. He hunts red bones. I know one of his old female. She, as she got older, she would split tree a lot more just natural. And I think some of that there is just they just figure out. It's just their brain. They're smart enough to realize it's just, by God, it's just easier to do this by myself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? You.
I think that I do too. I agree with that. Some of it, I think, is brought on by just hunting them by themselves so much, just hardcore, just by themselves all the time. I think some of them got social issues. I think they're just weird.
I'd say so.
I think they're just weird. Mine's like that. I think he's just socially, he gets it from his mama. That's the way she is. Or
his breeder.
Yeah, that's probably the mostly part of it. But yeah, I've lost a lot of hunts. I ain't saying that I like that, but I'm going to say that for that social distancing, if you want to call it that, I've lost some hunts because she didn't want nothing to do with what was going on right here. She didn't care. Even striking right out, dog striking out of the truck, she's going over here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I've thought a lot about this.
Yeah, it's
because I've got that.
Yeah.
That's what they are, and I don't make that. They just do it. I like it, and I've looked into.
Sure.
We talked about that, looking into stuff, and sometimes you just look into a line or a dog,
Yep.
and whether or not that dog throws it. You know, and I say this a lot too, like, you know, breeding to a dog that's more naturally independent like that, because that's what you like. But that don't mean that if you've got a female that, and this just me, if that you got a female, if you knew my dog was just a straight up loner like that naturally, it doesn't mean. And here we go back to the genetics. Are a funny thing is, you breed that female to him, that don't mean all them pups are going to be loners.
But you want
dead
some
loners.
of them.
But yeah, and it seems like that, and not always, but a lot of guys that's bred a lot more dogs that I have or whatever and raised them there. But it seems like they either take after that and that's the way they are, or they ain't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
I've had several. That's one thing I can say about my line. They and like you said, if you breed, you may get half of them that are pretty independent, and some may not be. But no dog throws completely non-independent or independent nonstop. I mean, that I don't know if that's possible.
I don't know if it is either.
But
you've got the female in the mix there. When you breed a female in there,
absolutely.
And now if you breed tight and line breed and stuff like that, I think you might increase your odds.
Maybe. But I had a dog named what's his face? The old guy from out east had a dog out of my dual grand, which he'd be a half brother of my crush dog, but he was like that. I don't care if you dropped him off the tailgate and they struck a coon in 10 foot, he would not trail with them. He would not. You couldn't melt and pour him on another track with a dog.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't even exist. I would have liked to have hunted the dog, and then Doyle had a dog named Pete, which would be a half brother to my crush dog. I'd give anything to have him now. He was like that. You know, I was talking to Scott Uchman up there to TOC, and I hunted with Pete when he had been studded and hadn't been hunted in 2 years. But he was telling me about him. He said, you know, if you dropped him off tailgate and the dogs went straight north, he was going straight east. You know, he just had nothing to do with that. You know, had nothing to do with another dog.
Boy, I'd like to draw you and Scotty Uchman on a hunt together.
I've never drew Scotty Uchman.
I'd like to be me and you and Scotty, and who else could we throw in there? That'd make it.
I'm going to just walk and take my little mobile
Cletus Applegate, if he's still alive.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to be on the cast with you. I'd love to be on the cast with you guys.
Listen, we're here. These guys want to go coon hunting, and I'm still talking. Years ago, I had my preacher dog. I got to tell a story about Cletus. And there was an old boy, I can't remember his name, but he had a red tick named Set 'em Up Red Flag. You remember him?
Yeah, I got Michael.
This was an older guy, and he had trailer parks. He had some trailer parks. And they drove a Ford
He was
pickup.
at Humansville.
Somewhere up in that area, and he had a dog named
Ken Michael.
Maybe.
I think.
But he had a dog named Set 'em Up Red Flag. Big English dog.
No, it was them guys from Red Flag was the two brothers that were from Hartville.
That was Devin and Lansdowne. Okay.
Didn't they have Flag?
I don't know. This wasn't Flag, but I know who you're talking about. Howard and Delvin. Lansdowne.
Yeah.
They had some good English dogs.
Yeah, they didn't have
This was a different guy, but he had a dog named He's a grand, and I had my old preacher dog. And Darrell Edgman had a black and tan. You remember old Marcus, and he weighed about 130 or 40 pounds?
Yes.
This thing looked like Clydesdale.
Yes.
This thing was a monstrosity.
Darrell had some good black dogs.
Yes, he did. He's dead now. You know, he got killed
Yes, I
on
know. I did. I didn't know that.
He had a dog named Marcus that was when I say 130 pounds, I'm talking 130 pounds. I'm not exaggerating. And anybody that hears this podcast knows what I'm talking about. They remember Marcus. You ever seen him? Oh, my God, he was a monstrosity.
Huge.
And Flag wasn't no baby little fella either. But we all three drew out. Now, my old dog preacher wasn't mean, but now I'd never seen a dog push him, ever. And if they wanted to push, he'd stay in treat. But you can hunt anything with him. But Marcus was pretty rough. And I'd heard Flag was a little rough, but I don't know. So Cletus was there, and Cletus was going to hunt, and he said, I'm I'm not hunting. He said, I'm going to be the non-hunting judge. I got to see this cast. So Cletus, yeah, he thought we was going to have a train wreck all night. So he went as the non-hunting judge, and we didn't have a lick of trouble. But I got to tell a story. My old preacher, Daryl, I'll never forget, Daryl was bragging about Marcus was standing on a walker dog. The dog was standing on him, had him pinned down. Marcus was still treeing. He was bragging about it. Well, a few weeks later, whatever, Coy, me and him was partners on old preacher, had drew him, and they had some trouble, and preacher chewed the side of Marcus's head up, had tore it up. And I never did have the nerve to ask Daryl, but I always want to say, Daryl, did he stand on my dog and tree off his back too? I don't think it went very good for him when he tried mine, but that's one thing I said about old preacher. He never would. I never seen a dog push him. I had a dog named Rock that I got run over out of him. He would, if a dog pushed, he would maybe fight a second and he'd leave. Mm-hmm. And Crush will stay treed, but now he could probably be pushed too if one really was serious, especially now at his age. I'm sure he would. Yeah. He ain't gonna go with no 3-year-old dog, but he normally would stay treed. But it goes back to this deal: if you're gonna win hunts, they gotta stay treed, guys. They do. I don't care what these guys say. If you're gonna run with the big boys, they have to stay treed. Yep. It's that simple.
And they gotta tree coons.
You
ain't winning on circle and minus.
No,
points.
them guys say, "Oh, PKC went on circle." Well, whatever you want to believe. I heard a guy. I'm not gonna mention his name.
Come and hunt.
I heard a guy one time. I'm not gonna mention his name. He said, "Oh hell, I could go to PKC and win with a pig." And I thought, well, if I thought that and was going to sell that to people, I would bring my dog and win a truck instead of a yellow wind slip. Why don't you come and win $50,000? If it's that easy. Yeah. If it's that easy. Why are you hunting for a trophy, or better yet, not even a trophy anymore? You're hunting for a yellow slip when you could be driving a brand new $50,000 truck. Yeah. It's like you're full of it.
Yeah. And there's a few here and there casts that win something like that, but for the most part, if you ain't treeing a coon, you ain't winning.
Hey, 10,000 circle don't beat 1 plus point.
That's it.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
These guys are trying to wrap this up, and I'm not even remotely done talking.
Hey, we've got the mobile mic.
My throat's dry. I've got to have my daughter sleep over here behind me and get me a Dr. Pepper.
You look just like Rush Limbaugh, too.
Yeah, I don't know why in the hell we ain't doing this every week.
Hey, you might get you a new co-host, Jason. I can retire.
Why?
Yeah, we just all three of us do it then.
Hey, let's go coon hunting. I got a trip tomorrow. I got to go pick up a female to breed.
Where at?
I got to go to Conway.
Arkansas?
Yeah.
What time you got to leave for that?
11.
Oh, hell, we got plenty of time.
Well, we're 4 hours from... I got to ride back with him. You see how long it took us to get here? I got to ride back with him. They don't tell him what by the time we get done hunting.
I'm going to take him over in the flat country. Okay. We ain't going to have no hills. It'll be flat as this table.
Oh, this is awesome. I knew this was going to be good.
Yeah. What'd you bring, your new dog?
If you... let's don't talk about new dogs. Yeah. If you if a guy wanted to breed the Crush.
If somebody wanted to breed the Crush, you can get a hold of me. I'll put you in contact with Aaron. You can find Aaron on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way.
When you go to my Facebook page, I'm a pretty good-looking, blonde-headed guy, super intelligent, slightly overweight.
Yeah, looks like Rush Limbaugh.
And completely full of crap, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've heard that firsthand.
Yeah. But yeah. Let's go hunting. I'll have the mobile recorder with me. That way we can.
We'll have something to add. We'll have something to add to this for sure.
We'll have something to add to this 2-hour podcast.
Already, yeah.
Yeah, so. I've actually kept myself under control pretty good.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, you have.
You've done real good.
I thought the same thing.
I've been trying to do professional.
Yeah, you are.
I mean,
I'm proud of you.
I mean, this is going out all the way to China. I got to be good.
Yeah, there's a few in like Saudi Arabia and Canada and Australia that listen to this.
Well, ain't nothing I'd love more than go hunting with a Pakistani or an Islamist. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can ride their goats to each tree.
Yeah.
Can't we?
Yeah.
My daughters come in here now. I've got to be all professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, when my daughter's around, I got to act like I'm Billy Graham, the preacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
You got a face for radio.
Yeah, I do. I got a good face. You know what's funny is you know, people that know me, I know when their wife and kids are around, they're thinking, my God, what's this idiot going to say? You know, I know they're scared. Once you get to know me, you'll realize when your wife and kids are around, I mean, I'm like Jimmy Swaggart.
You see this right? You see this right here?
Yeah.
That's another thing that's enticed me to want to wrap this up. And there ain't no snacks here on the table.
Well, there's a Almond Joy.
Yeah, I know.
What time is it? God,
I ain't got
it's
nothing
10
to
o'clock.
drink.
11 o'clock almost.
Huh?
Almost 11.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Let's
All
go hunting.
Let's go hunting.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for listening to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to the podcast. If you don't mind, head over to Facebook and give us a like, and head over to Instagram and give us a follow. It's both at the Coonhound Collective. Also, if you would like to reach us here at the Coonhound Collective, you can reach us at thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. If there's someone that you would like to hear on the podcast or a product that you would like to hear talked about, please send it to thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a great day.